Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, Victoria police release new video in a deadly hit-and-run case. Plus, police arrest a former educator for 2 alleged felony crimes against a student. And Victoria County Sheriff's deputies share important holiday travel reminders.
Well, December's been wanting to feel like spring for the past couple of days. We even got the spring showers rolling back in off the Gulf. I do have relief on the way. We'll talk about that coming up.
And Victoria West boys basketball battles 6A school in Judson. We'll highlight this matchup on Sport.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shawna Currie. Don Brubaker has the night off. Victoria police are sharing new information about the hit and run that killed a 17-year-old boy. 25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting is live at the scene where that happened. And Trenton, what is the latest that we're learning?
Well, Shawna, earlier today, Victoria police released footage related to that deadly hit-and-run incident that happened here on South Laurent Street near Pleasant Grove Drive last Wednesday. Dennis Lee Richardson Jr. was killed last Wednesday night while riding his bike north on South Laurent Street, heading home from work. About 25 seconds later, 2 vehicles passed through the same area, and investigators believe those drivers may have seen something important related to this case. If you were in the 2700 block of South Laurent Street around 11:20 on the night of December 17th, police want to hear from you. You can also contact Crime Stoppers anonymously, and your tip could lead to a cash reward. Now, the family also reached out with us and shared some footage that they received from a doorbell Ring camera that they say they believe may have had some audio from the collision. Take a listen. You can hear. The video also shows several vehicles in the area at the time of the sound, and the family is begging anyone who was in that area or who saw anything to go ahead and come forward and deliver that information to the police. Now, I spoke with the family a little bit earlier. They were here on South Laurent Drive with a sign begging for justice for their son that was killed there last Wednesday night, and we'll air that interview on 25 News Now at 10. But for now, police are searching for any information that may lead to an arrest. Reporting live, Trenton Whiting, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
A former Rockport Fulton ISD educator is under investigation, accused of an inappropriate relationship with a student. Rockport police started investigating on December 17th, later getting arrest warrants for 41-year-old Joshua Lee Nguyen of Rockport. Nguyen is facing 2 felony charges: improper relationship between educator and student and sexual assault of a child. Nguyen left Rockport Fulton ISD in September of this year, where he was an educator for the Maritime Program and director of Texas Coastal Academy. That's the video that you're seeing here. The investigation found the alleged improper relationship happened during the 2024-2025 school year and into this past summer, while Nguyen was employed as an educator. A woman's act of kindness turned deadly in Rockport. Police are investigating a fatal pedestrian crash that happened Monday evening along Business Highway 35. Officers say 53-year-old Deborah Gail Daniel had just helped an elderly man across the highway. As she started back across the road, she was hit by a vehicle. Police tried life-saving measures, but Daniel was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the vehicle, an 81-year-old woman, showed no signs of intoxication and was taken to the hospital as a precaution. Investigators are reviewing nearby surveillance video, and no charges have been filed at this time. Well, let's go outside and take a first look at our weather. And very unseasonably warm outside. It feels more like spring, I think, than Christmas in 2 days.
Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. It feels like spring. We got starting to get some more shower activity being picked up there in the Gulf. Take a look at the radar right now. The shower activity has died off, though, but still definitely very spring-like of what we're watching here. Lots more shower activity picked up around the Beeville area, but we did have a couple little light sprinkles that had rolled through. They were no longer than 5 minutes, but areas around Curie saw a little bit more heavier downpours there. As we take a look at the rainfall totals, close to half an inch out there towards DeWitt County, but relatively it was more right along the 37 corridor facing or heading towards Bexar County up there, and big shower development up there with a little bit of lightning up there with about 1.5 inches around B County. But for us, I think some of us may have seen just a little bit of a sprinkle, and that was kind of all we were pretty much predicting, was about a 10 to 20% chance for some rain for today. Now, you do have travel plans, notice we are going to be having issues with some fog in the morning, but if you are planning on going out towards California, there's going to be some flooding events going on over there, as well as some snow events that are going to be picking up, as well as some very strong winds as this low pressure system is going to continue to push out towards Colorado. And then we look towards us for the weekend. We start to see winds begin to pick up moving down south there. That's our next frontal system. We'll talk about that coming up. Shawna?
Crews are back on the water today searching for one person who remains missing after a Mexican Navy medical aircraft crashed into Galveston Bay. The crash happened Monday as the plane was approaching Shoals International Airport. Officials say 8 people were on board, 5 were killed, 2 survived, and 1 remains unaccounted for. Authorities say the aircraft was on a humanitarian medical mission, carrying patients, including a child burn victim headed to Shriners Hospital when thick fog limited visibility. Well, every year during the holidays, crossing points along the Mexico-U.S. border are crowded with paisanos, travelers headed south. As Gustavo Valdez reports, thousands of vehicles, many trucks loaded to the max, wait for hours to cross into Mexico.
Hundreds of travelers from all over the United States gather at this parking lot in Eagle Pass, Texas, as they wait to cross the border.
Vámonos para México.
They are paisanos, people of Mexican descent going to Mexico for the holiday. And they don't make the journey empty-handed. Many have truckloads of stuff that they're taking to their loved ones in Mexico. Luis is going to Michoacán. He's coming all the way from California. Why are you doing this? ¿Por qué lo hace?
Porque, pues, nos gusta
He says
convivir
he
con
likes to
gente
spoil
que-
his relatives with presents from the States.
Ve usted sillas andaderas para
Rosario Ibarra is taking medical supplies for relatives and donations to local hospitals.
Juguetes.
All this cargo makes them a target once on Mexican soil. Robbery and extortion are an unfortunate reality for them. The Mexican government acknowledged the problem and every year helps organize caravans to assist and protect them along the way. This group is going to the state of Zacatecas in central Mexico. Ivan Reyes is one of the organizers.
Lo vamos a hacer también con el acompañamiento de la Guardia Nacional.
He says the National Guard will join them all the way to Zacatecas, traveling more than 800 kilometers. Their journey starts before dawn, led by local police to an international crossing point where they wait with other paisanos who are not part of the caravan. For Juana Rivera and her family, these are the last hours in the United States.
Ya nos vamos a regresar a México.
They are retiring after more than 20 years and going back to their hometown. This pilgrimage is not unique to Eagle Pass. Tens of thousands of vehicles cross the international bridges from coast to coast in the week before Christmas. The traffic bottleneck can last hours. Miguel Tapia doesn't mind it. He's waited 31 years to return to Mexico because up until a few months ago, he was undocumented and could not leave the country.
¿Qué se siente estar tan cerca de México?
Pues después de tantos años como
He says he feels Mexico won't be the same he remembers. Guillermo Roman packed most of his belongings in this truck, taking even his cat because after 21 years in Texas, he's calling it quits.
es un sabor agridulce.
He says it's a bittersweet moment. Happy he is going back, but sad he can't return, leaving behind half of his life. His parents are getting old and need help. He is undocumented. And with the current situation, he says staying in Mexico is his best option. Most of these travelers will be making the journey in reverse in a couple of weeks, full of memories and experiences that will encourage them to come back next year regardless of the challenges. Gustavo Valdez, CNN, Eagle Pass, Texas.
As people hit the road in the crossroads to visit family and friends, deputies with the Victoria County Sheriff's Office are working to make sure everyone gets to their destination safely. Deputy Amber Hume is reminding drivers to buckle up, pick a designated driver, and stay alert behind the wheel. That means watching road signs and keeping your phone out of reach. The Sheriff's Office says around this time last year, there were more than 10 DWI arrests and over 40 crashes. Hume says slowing down, paying attention, and making smart choices can go a long way in keeping those numbers down.
If everyone was just focused on the road, it would be very nice to not have to work crashes or arrest anybody for driving while intoxicated this holiday season. To keep everyone safe, it would mean a lot.
Hume says following these guidelines will ensure safety on the roadways. Well, if you see news happening, call our newsroom at 361-576-0026 or send us the information through email to staff@crossroadstoday.com. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, a federal lawsuit targets Washington, D.C.'s strict firearm restrictions. Plus, thousands of new Epstein documents are released by the Justice Department. Former CIA Director John Brennan is accusing the Justice Department of irregular activity in a grand jury investigation. His attorney says that could include possible judge shopping and leaks to the media. The probe out of Florida involves a years-old assessment on Russian meddling in the 2016 election. Brennan's lawyer is asking the chief judge to review efforts to steer the case to Judge Aileen Cannon, a Trump appointee known for dismissing Trump's classified documents case, and possibly force her recusal. Brennan has not been charged with any crimes. The Trump administration is suing Washington, D.C. in a challenge to the city's strict gun laws. D.C. has some of the nation's toughest gun laws. The Justice Department's lawsuit challenges two provisions: heavy restrictions on popular rifles like the AR-15 and the long registration process in which the police department must approve all firearms on a case-by-case basis. President Trump and administration officials say making it easier for D.C. residents to own and carry firearms would lower crime. The suit is the administration's latest move to refashion public safety in the nation's capital, where it has deployed thousands of National Guard and other federal forces. The D.C. Attorney General's office declined to comment on the lawsuit. The Justice Department has released nearly 30,000 new documents tied to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Among them, a handwritten letter from Epstein to Larry Nassar that makes crude references to our president, not naming Trump directly. Those were sent the same month Epstein died in 2019. Some documents reference Trump on Epstein's private plane, showing him as a passenger on at least 8 flights in the 90s. Authorities have not accused Trump of any crimes related to Epstein, and Trump says they had not spoken in years before Epstein's death. This latest batch follows an earlier release last week after a law was signed in November requiring the files to go public. The U.S. economy got an unexpected boost last quarter, according to the latest gross domestic product report. And that report was released by the Commerce Department. The initial reading of third quarter GDP showed the U.S. economy accelerated at an inflation-adjusted annualized rate of 4.3%. That's a far faster pace than the 3.8% recorded in the second quarter and the fastest growth rate in 2 years. Consumer spending and exports were the main contributors to the strong GDP reading, which was delayed due to the government shutdown. The report likely means the Federal Reserve has less need to cut rates to support the economy when it reconvenes next month. And despite the growing economy, consumer confidence is down this month. According to the latest survey from the Conference Board, consumer confidence fell 3.8 points from November to 89.1. That's the lowest reading since April, when President Trump introduced his Liberation Day tariffs. The monthly report showed consumers' views of their family's current financial situation dipped into negative territory for the first time in nearly 4 years. Consumers across all income levels also expressed more concern about the state of the labor market, with the unemployment rate recently hitting a 4-year high. And to get more news headlines as well as weather and sports, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com.
Well, if you had to pick a record that you would like to break, would it be 84 degrees or 9 degrees? I'm going to go with the 84. Yes. Yeah. 82 was our high. We were 2 degrees from the record. 69 was a low. That's about 60 degrees off from the record. But we do have a cold front on our way. We'll talk about that coming up. Check out this sleek house with the lights. I like the tree. I would definitely grab a chair and some buddies and just hang out outside there. Thank you to Mark for sending this in. This is in Victoria, Texas. And if you'd like to send in your house, we got a couple days left. Go to crossroadstoday.com, hit the menu, and it'll drop down to entertainment and contests, and it'll take you to the link to submit your photo. But it has been feeling a bit warm and a bit spring-like here for us, and visibility right now at 10 miles, excuse me, and well, the visibility is going to pick it back up here once again here as we start to see more of the fog begin to roll back in here towards 11 p.m. here. Now we're likely to see half a mile of visibility once again for the nighttime here, and really it's going to last till about 7, 8 in the morning, and then we start to see some dissipating and it starts to retreat back into the Gulf, because that's where we're getting more of that advection fog from there. But it is going to look like it's going to be a white Christmas for us here, as Wednesday night we're going to see more fog roll in here, and well, Thursday morning likely going to be seeing half a mile of visibility once again. So no snow, but fog kind of counts as a white Christmas in my book, unfortunately. But we'll likely see a couple little more showers here for tomorrow, about a 10 to 20% chance of very isolated pockets, kind of what we saw today, not to the density of that we saw down in Beeville, but it's still just going to be relatively spotty with some leftover disturbances that have been going up in the mid-levels down south around Corpus. And other than that, it's going to be feeling pretty spring-like still overall. And, you know, if you really wanted a gift, well, my gift right now is it's going to be a bit warm here. 82 degrees for today, going to tomorrow, getting to the 83. And for Christmas time, we're going to be sticking around the 80s once again with mostly sunny skies. So not going to need that fireplace, but you will likely need it here with this next frontal system that moves in here Sunday night. Temperatures are actually going to drop about 20 degrees from where we're at right now at 82 degrees. We're likely going to get back into the low 60s, likely upper 50s here as we head to Saturday. Start to see the frontal system begin to push down there into New Mexico. And there's colder air behind that. So by Sunday morning, we'll likely see it in the Texas Panhandle. And it's going to continue to move down south here with likely some showers developing there along the 35 I-10 corridor, just making its way towards Austin. And as for us, it's looking like late Sunday night into early Sunday morning, we'll start to see the northerly winds pick up, as well as a 20 to 30% chance for some shower activity to pick up. And then the cold air will filter in right after that. So still got a little bit of a ways away. So if you're enjoying the spring weather, enjoy it, because you're going to need that jacket once again. And don't forget about that one, because we're still in the middle of December here. So foggy conditions for tomorrow, 80 degrees for the high is what we're going to be seeing here. South-southeasterly winds will pick up at about 10 to 12 miles per hour. Port Lavaca likely going to be seeing more of the fog later extended, just because that's where the source is coming from. And Cuero going to be seeing a little bit of fog cover as well. Going to be on the warmer side of things, getting close to 82 to 83 degrees. Now the next 7 days, yes, that's right, 80 degrees will continue here through Sunday. Then the front moves in with a 20 to 30% chance for some scattered showers. And then here we go, back into our regularly resumed schedule of Christmas. So don't forget the fog in the morning and enjoy these last few spring days. And don't forget to scan the QR code as well for more news, weather, and sports. And send it back to Shawna.
It almost looks like some typos there, but nope, those are the actual temperatures. So, all right, well, let's go over to Max Williams now for sports. And this is a sport, too, that I typically think of people all bundled up and in the cold.
Yeah, I mean, being from Ohio, Shawna, right? I mean, I deal with it because usually soccer's in the springtime, right? Again, when it's a little bit warmer. But here in Texas, you know, we've got 80 degrees, like Jacob's been saying. It's perfect time there for high school soccer. So I'll highlight how Victoria West and St. Joe did. That's coming up next. It's sports. Earlier today, we had a non-district class between 6A school in Judson Rockets outside of San Antonio faced Victoria West at the West Gym. This game was close from the first quarter, where Judson had the lead 12-11, but then after that, the Rockets would pull away, winning in this one 72-44. And the West leading scorer was sophomore Matthew Katine, led the way with 24 points there in the loss. But even with this loss, for the head coach for West and Cody McDonald, he highlights how he feels this team is still in a good place, and he highlights how their competitive nature is heading into district play starting in January.
It's played a really difficult schedule coming into this first half of the season. We're 9-9 now, and have been in most of those games have been single possession games or very close games that we've lost. So we've prepared ourselves both mentally and physically to play a really difficult district schedule.
The Warriors boys basketball team will be playing in the Mike Smith Classic. That'll be back at the West Gym from December 29th through the 30th, and they'll face their rival Victoria East. That'll be at East High School on January 2nd, and it'll start at 6:30 p.m. Now, we also had some high school soccer between Victoria West and St. Joseph, and both these teams, this was actually their last scrimmage action before their seasons officially start next week. And West would take this one, had a couple of big-time goals in this clash. And again, for West, they're going to be starting off the season December 29th at home versus United South High School, while St. Joe will be not back until the VISD tournament. That's going to be at Memorial Stadium, where they'll face multiple teams. They're starting from January 2nd and the 3rd. Then we have two NBA games. First, with Oklahoma City Thunder facing the San Antonio Spurs. Both these teams head in with 20-plus wins. This tip-off will be at 7:30 p.m. This will be the first of two games between both of these teams. They'll play tonight, and then they'll play each other again on Christmas Day. So for the Spurs, if they get some big-time wins against OKC, that'll be huge there probably for the rest of the way in the Western Conference. And the Rockets try and do another big-time win as well. They're out in L.A. to face the Clippers. That game starts at 9:30 p.m. The Rockets hope to get production from Alfred Şengün and Kevin Durant in this game, because they'll actually play the Clippers, then they'll play the Lakers, like I said, there on Thursday night for Christmas Day. And again, we'll have both of these final score updates later for you for 25 News Now Sports at 10 p.m. That's going to do it here in sports. Shawna, back to you.
Well, stay with us. What began as one woman's childhood memory is now a 20-year tradition that's creating magic for families nationwide. Well, a Christmas tradition that started 20 years ago keeps growing. Elf on the Shelf is now in millions of homes across the country. Hard to believe it's 20 years old. The company says they have sold more than 31 million elves, elf pets, and elf mates since it began. Families like the Zitos are enjoying their first holiday with their elf doodles. The idea started in Marietta, Georgia, when Shawna Bell turned a childhood memory of her own elf on a shelf into the story. Now today, kids send thousands of letters to the company each season, and the tradition gives parents a fun way to create magical moments as kids wake up to find their elf in a new spot every day, sometimes getting into a little mischief as well. But it reminds everyone that Santa is watching who is naughty or who is nice. And I have to say, Mother Nature is not being very nice to us.
No, it's definitely a little too early for spring, I'll say that. And it's going to continue here over the next couple of days. Going to be sticking around 80 degrees here. And then we have our frontal system moving in Sunday. That'll bring back the cooler weather for us.
All right, looking forward to a little cool down.
Yes.
I'll take it. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tonight at 10.